So for people like me who hate to go get up early in the morning and go to the gym, this is genuinely a wonder drug. What is making it a wonder drug? Give us a sense of what makes it the wonder drug that it is.
I mean, the primary treatment is for type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, if I have to sort of just take a step back, is basically insulin resistance, which results in a spike in blood sugar levels.
Right.
Now, insulin, what it does is it goes and sticks to the cell and it helps absorption of sugar. And hence it is used by the cell in order to create energy.
Right.
GLP-1 is a hormone that is naturally also excreted by the body. Tells the liver to release stored glucose. It also slows digestion. It also reduces appetite. In turn, what it does is not just control diabetes, but also result in a little bit of obesity control.
So for people like me who hate to go get up early in the morning and go to the gym, this is genuinely a wonder drug.
It is. Barring the side effects, of course, which we don't know whether it is direct causation or correlation, etc., etc. Research yet needs to be done on that.
This episode of Taking Stock is brought to you by Paterson.
Welcome to Taking Stock by Paterson, where we cover a stock every week and do a deep dive into the stock and what goes into the working of the stock. Today's conversation is going to be about a wonder drug and a stock that sort of themed around a wonder drug that addresses obesity, that addresses diabetes, and is continuing, and we're sort of seeing newer areas in which this wonder drug is sort of taking, is making a difference. We're talking about GLP-1, and Sagar, let's roll and go straight into it.
So the company is OneSource Pharma.
Right.
And it's probably one of the very few plays that we have in India on the GLP-1 ecosystem. Now, GLP-1, while more people know it by the brand name itself, is the underlying sort of drug. More popularly, Ozempic, Mounjaro, several other drugs which have become extremely popular, maybe to some level infamous also because of their usage. It was revolutionary because it started off as a treatment for diabetes. But is now turning into a little bit of a controversial topic because the usage is more relevant for obesity as well.
Right.
So people are using it as a weight loss drug, which some people are on the side of saying that it's okay, why not? If there is a drug which helps you reduce weight loss, why not? Some people are like, hey, go to the gym and work out, that's healthier than facing or consuming a drug and taking a shortcut. But in any case, I think one of the things that is established irrespective is that this market is booming. It's making billions at this point in time for any of the drug makers. And so far, it has also in several nations not been prescribed directly for obesity, but that's also changing. So the market for this drug is overall not really stopping at the billions it's already making, but it's also sort of expected to triple or 4 times from here even. So if there is a listed play where you can make money out of this entire scenario, why just lose weight, also make money? So that's what we're at this point.
So what is making it a wonder drug? Give us a sense of what makes it the wonder drug that it is.
So, see, primarily what happens is this was used for, the primary treatment is for type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, if I have to sort of just take a step back, is basically insulin resistance,
Right.
Which results in a spike in blood sugar levels.
Right.
And blood sugar levels increasing is a problem because it can cause heart issues, it can cause eye issues, kidney issues, etc., etc. There's a whole lot of things that it can cause.
Right.
Essentially, this happens because of insulin resistance, and GLP, what it does is, again a step back. Insulin is produced by the pancreas.
Right.
Now, insulin, what it does is it goes and sticks to the cell.
Right.
And it helps absorption of sugar.
Right.
Now, hence, when sugar is absorbed, it does not remain in the bloodstream, and hence it is used by the cell in order to create energy.
Right.
So it breaks down the sugar,
Right.
Forms energy, and that's what your body uses as fuel.
Right.
GLP-1 is a hormone that is naturally also excreted by the body.
Right.
Or circulated by the body.
Right.
This hormone signals the pancreas to release more insulin.
Right. Right.
So it happens when blood sugar increases.
Right.
It will signal the pancreas to put in more insulin, and hence the body will suppress the amount of blood sugar that is there.
Right.
What it also does is it tells the liver to release stored glucose.
Right. Right.
It also slows digestion.
Right.
It also reduces appetite.
Right.
In turn, what it does is not just control diabetes, but
Right.
also result in a little bit of obesity control.
Right.
And that's why the popularity.
So for people like me who hate to get up early in the morning and go to the gym, this is genuinely a wonder drug, isn't it?
It is. Barring the side effects, of course, which are yet to be sort of fully explored, right? Because
Right.
there are increasing number of cases which highlight these cases, but we don't know whether it is direct causation or correlation, etc., etc. Research yet needs to be done on that.
Right.
But yes, increasingly being prescribed not just for diabetes but also for obesity. So I had like a little bit of statistics here. About 27% of the people that are diagnosed with diabetes end up using a GLP-1 drug. If it's diabetes plus obesity, the number is only at about 2%. And only obesity without diabetes is at a mere 0.67%.
So it's been around.
It's been around.
Okay.
It's been around for the last few years. It's been around for about, I'd say about 10 or more odd years. But popularly as a diabetes treatment. But as a treatment for obesity, it is picking up only recently.
Okay.
So it is actually interestingly discovered in a very weird manner. It was discovered through a type of a lizard.
Wow.
So there was research going on a lizard, and the lizard actually releases a peptide called exendin 4,
Right.
which is very similar to GLP-1.
Right.
But it does not break down very rapidly.
Right.
The difference between that and GLP-1 is GLP-1 breaks down very rapidly. It lasts only for a few minutes in the body.
Right.
So it breaks down rapidly, and hence there is a lower efficacy to it. However, the lizard, it does not, because their eating cycles are different. They don't eat as frequently as humans do.
So much of learnings in this podcast.
So it remains active for hours. And hence the idea also came from there, that why don't we make a drug that is basis this theory,
Right.
that sort of works on the functioning of GLP-1 and is also able to last longer in the body.
Right.
So if you look at a lot of the drug dosages for Ozempic or Mounjaro or whatever, they differ in terms of timing.
Right.
So one is a weekly injectable, one is a monthly injectable, and that is primarily because or directly correlate to how long the drug stays in the body.
Okay.
So GLP-1 in its natural form will dissolve or dissipate quickly. However, the artificial one will remain slightly longer in the body, and hence the dosage requirement depends on that.
And how do they sort of administer the drug? Is it, I mean, which is for me the segue to what the components of our discussion itself are. So break that piece down so that then we look
Injected.
Injected.
Mostly injected.
Okay.
Like most diabetes drugs, right? It is sort of directly into your bloodstream.
Okay.
That's how this works as well.
Okay.
But the injection for this one is slightly different compared to your normal syringes.
In what way?
Also because this is self-administered.
Okay.
So the large difference is that these drugs are self-administered because they are regular doses, which will last a few months and have a frequent periodicity, versus something like a one-time, say, penicillin shot or immunity booster or like whatever, right? Those are much more, those are professionally administered. So this one is administered through something known as a pen. And that pen is primarily an injectable. And this pen is actually, again, very interestingly, it's more specialized compared to your syringes because one, it has to have a very precise dose. So dosage can vary between 0.25 mg and 2 mg. Typically, it starts at 0.25 mg and escalates over a period of time. So there has to be a precise dose exactly of that much administered. Also, because there is a dose escalation, initially it has to give 0.25. Maybe the third week it increases to 1. So the same pen has to also accommodate for this dosage increase.
Okay.
So one single shot will initially do 0.25, later it will do more. More than that, I think the needle is also hidden in the pen, so that when you're handling it without really trying to inject yourself, you're not really by mistake sort of pinching into somebody else or yourself. Additionally, it has to be temperature controlled. Because the vial usually in medical facilities can be stored in temperature controlled environments, but when you're at home or whatever, you don't really have that much cognizance of or prudence around temperature control. More than that, there's also a lot of visual and motion based detectors on it, not detectors, indicators. So basically it'll tell you that 1 dose out of 4 is done. When you inject it, it'll make a click sound. So the administration is interesting in the sense that it's simply injected, but the device through which it is injected is pretty complex. So a lot of the companies that have actually filed for patents on GLP-1 drugs, there was a statistic I read that more than 50% of those patents are actually for devices that inject the drug and not for the constituent of the drug itself.
Wow, okay.
And that happens primarily because patents expire, right? After a period of time, once whoever has done the R&D, they get a benefit because they've pumped in so much money into the R&D that there is a patent and that has a certain period. After the patent expires, it is open for the world to mass produce, and that's when prices drop. So they lose advantage. However, to extend the period of the patent, a lot of companies either make minor modifications to the drug so that they're able to keep increasing the patent period, or what they end up doing is, in such a case, apply for a patent around the device itself. And they will apply for it around multiple designs and functionality, so that they've covered the entire ecosystem in a manner that even if you, as a generic player, are able to produce the drug tomorrow, you still have to go to the original player in order to license the device out. And the royalty keeps coming into the original player.
So does a lot of the spend on the research actually go to the device? Or is it getting a portion between the drug itself and the device?
So if the entire piece has to cost 100, right? A dose has to cost 100. About 7 to 8% of it is the API, which is your primary ingredient or the GLP-1 formulation or whatever you want to call it. About 1% is stuff that is the liquid, stabilizer, whatever else goes into, just making sure that the entire system is stable. About 35% of it will be the consumable, which is the pen.
Wow, really? So 35% of the thing, so it's more than API itself.
Yeah. About 40% will be what we call fill and finish, which is the filling itself. And then there is about 14-15% of packaging, transportation, distribution, etc. So a large portion in this case would be how the drug is administered. That'll cost a lot. But there are other versions coming out as well, which are edible or which are capsules and not really injectables, but very, very less at this point in time.
So give us the landscape. So right now it's a duopoly, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Right? And it's a extremely expensive drug. So if you and I want to sort of use it, not you, me, but so what will it cost?
So in the US currently, it costs about $900 to $1,300 per month, which would be either a weekly or a monthly dose, depending on what you're talking about. However, this pricing is not really something that has shot up after the obesity use case.
Correct.
Even as a diabetes drug, this was costing anywhere between $800 and $1,000 per month.
Right.
And that pricing is something which is a problem. Even currently, the market is about $60 to $70 billion globally. US alone is about $50 billion. Globally, it would be about $60 to $70 billion. However, this entire market, if we have to look at, it has the potential to multiply only because pricing is still a very large issue. Because by no means is that accessible.
Correct.
At $1,000. Correct. And for diabetes, still it makes sense because insurance covers it.
Right.
But if you have obesity without diabetes, insurance is not going to say, I'm going to cover it for you, right? They're going to be like, eat lesser. So that's how it will work. So that's one of the key thesis of why we think that this has the potential to sort of become a market which is which grows multifold.
Right.
Because typically what happens is after the patent expires, drug prices come down by about 60 to 70%. So if the price has to come down to say about a $300, it becomes much more palatable for a lot of people compared to right now.
Correct. Right. Break this down now as next steps into the stock that we're covering, and sort of, to get that into this discussion. I think one of the things that we discovered is the three pillars, and also a little bit maybe about how the firm itself formed, and the way the note that I was reading talked about how there was like a segue. It was a phased kind of thing. So that is how through both of them.
So see, OneSource is primarily what we call a CDMO player, which is a contract development and manufacturing organization. Now, these guys are a special one because they're sort of made out of three different companies. And one of them is, probably I'm not going into details of what the names of those companies are. It's quite unnecessary. One of them makes something known as biologics and high-end DDC. DDC are those devices that, like your pen. The second company makes soft gelatin capsules. If you've noticed fish oil capsules, for example, omega-3 capsules, the soft gel that is there, they make those capsules. The third is they make sterile injections. Not injections, but injectables. So may not necessarily be the injection also, but the stuff that goes inside the main medicine.
Right.
So it's a unique company in the sense that it is able to make not just the drug, but also the administering device, whether it is an injection or a capsule or something more complicated like a pen. And that gives it a sort of special positioning, because then it simplifies the supply chain for any drug maker.
Right.
So any drug maker which is outsourcing its manufacturing to, say, get a presence in India, then does not have to deal with multiple players. They're just able to say that, hey, OneSource, take this, you make the drug, you make the injection, you make the pen, whatever, and sell it, rather than it all coming together at different points in time. So that gives you a cost advantage, that gives you a supply chain advantage, and that gives you a quality control advantage as well. So that's what OneSource basically is. Most of it came from this company called Strides, which was a very large pharma company. Strides still owns about 40% stake in OneSource, and this has happened through a complex set of mergers and demergers, which we can sort of avoid at this point in time. But roughly, if I have to look at the revenue split of OneSource, 20% of the revenue comes from DDC, which is your complex pens and stuff. 40%, 42% comes from soft gels, and 38% from injectables. That's the current split. But if we have to look at where OneSource will make money in the future, it is from GLP-1. Because it is one of the very, very few companies which has got capability and contracts not just for manufacturing molecules that go into the drug itself, but also the pen. And it has got capacity across. It's also won several contracts, not just with the original patent holders, but also with the generic players. So when it comes out of the phase of patent itself, it will be able to supply to multiple players at the same time and take advantage of the entire market ecosystem. So that's where we're at. In terms of just broad numbers, they would have done about, say, for example, about 3.1 billion in revenue from DDC in FY25. However, that is expected to grow at 100% CAGR over the next 2-3 years. And that's because most of the commercialization of projects related to GLP-1 are expected to happen in FY26. So that's where OneSource sort of fits in, and that will be the major growth driver for the company.
And they are right now, Are they taking advantage of this in terms of any kind of capacity building, or is it that they already have the capacity? I also saw somewhere that there is also a financial fundraise that has happened. So, what is the sense on that front as well?
So, see, overall cartridge capacity is growing by about 5x in the next 3 years. So there is massive capacity addition being done on the entire GLP front. So currently they manufacture about 4 crore cartridge pens every year, and they're going to scale it up to about 22 crore by FY28. They've got about 20 customer contracts already. So that is something that is going to drive a lot of that. So the fresh capital that they actually raised, about 800 crores
Correct.
was raised. And most of it is being deployed in the cartridge business.
Okay.
Because that's where most of the growth driver or most of the growth is being seen. So that's what we're looking at. They've also done a couple of acquisitions and raised more money, etc. Internal accruals are also being fulfilled primarily towards the cartridge capacity. So massive expansion coming up. And that's how you'll sort of see growth, right? If you're seeing a market grow 3x, 4x, then that capacity, unfortunately, for a company like this has to come front-ended.
Right.
So they've been in investment zone for the last several months. And interestingly, that is one of the pressure points for the stock. Because what's happening in terms of results is that there is a bit of a delay in terms of commercialization of GLP-1 projects. There are delays in terms of these projects starting. Factories getting delayed, etc., orders not coming through on time, because it's a nascent market as well, right? And because of all this, since they've already made the investment but the revenue is not coming in, the market is not being very forgiving towards the stock.
Right.
So although it got listed at around the current market price and the listing price are pretty much similar, and the stock has taken a beating of about 10-20% in the last few months.
When did they list?
Beginning of 25. So not very long.
Not too much of movement in that, right? What risks do you see in the context of both a macro? You're saying the GLP piece itself is evolving, and then one also sees competition, because clearly there is China. There are also other players who can sort of compete with these guys. So where do you see both these stacking up in the context of the stock itself?
So clearly the largest risk would be pricing, because if generics have to come in, the pricing that is currently being followed in the market is not going to be followed. And if this is such a big lucrative market, there is going to be multiple players coming in terms of drug making and selling itself. So if that has to happen, pricing is going to be under pressure for sure. And operating margins will be squeezed out for the entire ecosystem. So the current multiple double digits margins that Ozempic or anybody else is making, those are obviously going to shrink massively. And once it shrinks for the ecosystem, it will hurt these guys as well. So while these guys are not really talking about it at this point in time, and their guidance is still maintaining 40% EBITDA margin, this is a legitimate risk that can come in, because competition will only go up in such a beautiful market, which is high growth and which has a runway of several years coming forward. So pricing is one. The second is delays. So any further delays, whether it is in capacity building or whether it is in the rollout of the product, will obviously result in a lot of pressure, because the capital expenditure has been made. And if the revenue is not coming in, then the stock will be under pressure, which is what we witnessed last quarter as well. So the stock has gone from a high of 2,200, it is now at about $1,200. So there has been a steep fall in the stock price, primarily because of these delays. So their guidance is super high. What they're aiming for is about $500 million in revenue by FY28. Just to give you context, FY25 revenue was 170 million. And that 500 includes a bit of an acquisition as well.
Right.
But organically, it is at 400 million. So you're essentially looking at about a 30% CAGR over a period of 3 years,
Right.
which is magnificent growth.
Yeah.
And that too at an EBITDA margin of 40%.
Right.
And again, for context, in FY25, they did EBITDA margins of 32%.
Right.
So essentially, if they have to meet their guidance,
Right.
you're looking at a 30% CAGR on revenue,
Right.
and you're looking at roughly a 50% type number in terms of EBITDA CAGR.
Right.
And those numbers in the current market situation are phenomenal.
Right.
And hence the valuations have also been high.
Right.
So the third risk is that if they do not fulfill on any of the milestones that they're setting up,
Right.
then there is a risk that the stock sort of derates.
Right.
And the valuation that the stock has been getting does not really come through.
Right.
Which has sort of played out in the last quarter. So if you look at the journey from $2,000 to 1,200,
Right.
the stock has derated massively.
Right.
And if I have to just sort of lay out what contextually it looks like,
Right.
if they achieve $500 million of revenue, which is their own guidance,
Right.
at 40% EBITDA margin, which is again their guidance, it comes to about $200 million of EBITDA.
Correct.
Roughly at $90, that is 1,800 crores of EBITDA. If you have to give it even a 20 times multiple,
Right.
and 20 times I'm saying compared to a 25 times multiple that usually CDMO players get on a EV EBITDA basis,
Right.
it still comes to a value of anywhere between 36,000 and 40,000 crore.
Right.
Versus a current market cap of about 13,500 crore.
Right.
So I think the story of the stock is set. Story of the company is set.
Yeah.
The story of the stock really depends on their execution ability and ensuring that the risks that we just spoke about don't really materialize.
Right. Right. So here you go. The recent fall may just present you with opportunities given what you just heard. Thank you for joining us. Do join us next Tuesday for more such conversations on stocks. And remember to do your own research before you take any decisions on some of the things that you heard in this conversation. Bye.
Disclaimer: this content is for informational purposes only. None of the stocks, brands, or products mentioned are recommendations or endorsements.